welcome back to my cozy corner of the internet. I'm Mayastar, and this is the Mayastar Podcast. I teach energy healing courses online through Mayastar Academy, share spiritual guidance and mystical musings on the Maya Muses blog, and provide healing, ritual, and spellcasting services. As a star-seeded shaman and professional witch, on the Mayastar Podcast, I release articles, discussions, and energy updates every week, covering energy healing, spiritual awakening, lightworkers, starseeds, magic, and New Age spirituality. This episode is being re-released with upgraded audio and new cover art to coincide with the launch of the new Mayastar Podcast YouTube channel. Please check it out and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of the new content coming soon. And welcome back to my cozy corner of the internet. I'm Mayastar, and today we have another unscripted video. In today's unscripted video, I'm going to be answering some of your energy healing and spiritual development questions, talking about the latest special offer for the Pleiadian DNA Clearing and Activation course, and telling you all about the latest channeled meditation that connects you with dragon energy, and we look at some reasons why you might want to do that. As usual, I come armed with notes but without a script, so we'll be meandering around the topic and pursuing the scenic route to enlightenment. If this sounds interesting to you, stick around and while away the next half an hour or so with me as we explore these things together. If you enjoy this kind of content, please consider subscribing and share this page with your friends. Through my YouTube channel and podcast and all of my social media, I provide you with daily spiritual guidance and inspiration on your path. So if you haven't already followed me over on Instagram and Facebook and Pinterest and all those places, I recommend you do that so that you receive the daily guidance for the energy update readings, which includes a daily affirmation you can use to align you with positive and progressive energy. And the first subject that I want to cover today is relating to a question that was submitted by email from somebody asking if they needed to use the affirmations every day or if they could choose one and then stick with it for the entire week. And as I advised them, these are just suggestions. It's not something that you have to do. It's just that if you feel drawn to connect with the law of attraction energies, to enhance your manifesting work and draw in positive energy and new opportunities, then these affirmations are intended to help you do that. But if you resonate most powerfully with just one of them, there's nothing to stop you from using that one for the entire week. And also, if you go back on this channel or podcast, wherever you're listening, you will find some of the original mantra wave meditations. You might want to try using those. In fact, I think there's a playlist on YouTube for the Mayastar mantra wave meditations if you want to check that out. But my recommendations to this inquirer regarding how to use the energy update readings, which go out every Monday. They include a week ahead dominant energetic influence card. We look at the potential opposition, and then there's a daily card. So on the daily card, there's a short reading and an affirmation. And what I recommend you do is listen to the energy update in full when it goes out on the Monday, and then play it back, but pause it after each of the daily guidance readings so that each day you can return to the reading and get the next daily guidance and the affirmation. Alternatively, if you follow me over on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, etc., the daily readings go out on all of my social media. So wherever you prefer to get your updates, you'll probably find me there. And also on the community tab on YouTube, and on the shorts tab, the daily guidance is released as well. So you can check in each day to get the daily reading, and on Mondays you get the full week ahead reading. But experiment and see what works with you. You don't have to use all of the meditations, and you don't have to follow all of the guidance. These readings are just to inspire you on your path and give you something to think about, and a bit of a boost early in the morning to counteract the headlines and that kind of thing, get you off to a good start. This week's energy update, the dominant energetic influence for the week ahead that I've drawn and which will be going out on Monday, is the Fool. And that's a very positive card to have as the dominant energetic influence. It really gives you a sense that anything could be possible, that new beginnings are open to us, that something important is about to shift and you're about to set off on a new adventure. So this is a great card to see at this point, and I'm excited to see what's coming up. Now, usually in the traditional tarot, the Fool is depicted as somebody setting out on a journey, carrying a bundle of clothes and travelling light, and taking their little intuitive dog with them, and they look like they're lost in thought and smiling, happy, joyful, and perhaps a little bit careless, but also very much carefree. So it's that kind of energy. The Fool in some ways is considered the wisest of the tarot archetypes, because he never lets things hold him back. He's not dwelling on the past. He's not tied up with fear or guilt or shame or any negative connections to the past. He's moved on, he's free, and he's able to start again and set off on a new adventure. So if you want to align with that kind of energy, check out the energy update reading when it goes live on Monday. And the next thing I wanted to talk to you about is the latest meditation track that I've almost finished working on at the time of recording this. And this meditation will be to connect with Lemurian dragon energy. If you feel drawn to dragon energy and you would like to be attuned to it, there are several options in my courses. The Lightworker Animal Empowerments course, the Animal Medicine Empowerments, and the Magical Lightworker course. All of these include connection with dragon energy. So if you feel drawn, those are good options for you. But dragon energy is a potent force to connect with. It's very much an elemental energy. And you may think of dragons specifically as being connected with the element of fire on account of the fact that they are often depicted as being able to breathe fire. But they have a lot of other associations, such as a connection with the element of water. In Asian traditions, dragons are often depicted as another stage in the development of fish energy. So they move from a watery energy to become a dragon later on, sort of thing. They evolve through different elemental forces. So they have a link to water. And because they are depicted as often being able to fly, they have an obvious connection with the element of air. And when it comes to the element of earth, they are often considered to be hoarders. They are often depicted as being in possession of a lot of treasure and gold coins and things like that. So you have all of those associations with dragons. I don't think of them as just being one particular element, but I do think of them as being powerful elemental beings. And to me, they represent the flow of those different currents in our world and within ourselves. So I feel that connecting with dragons can help you to balance your energy by reminding you of all four of those elemental forces and bringing them back into harmony. So as well as working on the meditation in order to channel those energies and help you to align with them and connect with that dragon power, I've also been working with Kundalini energy through the Kundalini Reiki course, which includes a meditation technique that you can use every day called the Kundalini Fire Meditation. I prefer to use this in the morning. I've never been very successful working with Kundalini energy in the evenings because I find it quite stimulating and it can really keep me awake, quite frankly. It's very energizing. So it's an energy that I prefer to work with early in the morning. And at the moment, I've been choosing Kundalini Reiki for my morning meditation session, which is the session that I do when I'm starting my temple work. So very early, before I even have breakfast, when I'm going to be doing the temple work for setting up attunements for my students, I start off by performing my own meditation. So at the moment, as part of my connection with dragon energy, I'm working with the Kundalini meditation and with the new track that I'm currently working on. It's almost finished, and by the time you hear this, it will already be available on the releases tab on YouTube and on all of the music apps. So if you want to check it out, look for the Lemurian Dragon light codes and you can find all 4 mixes. I'm not sure at this point, I haven't done the mixes, so I'm not sure what they're going to be, but there's likely to be a pure mix version, which is like a dreamscape where I take the beat out and include the light codes and the vocals. It's a more ethereal and relaxing sort of vibe that really suits winding down and relaxing or sleeping or being in deep meditation. It's that kind of background sound, but with the light codes incorporated and with binaural beats, which amplifies the brain waves that help you to relax and focus at the same time. Alpha waves are those brain waves that we access most while we're meditating, so I include those within the track, but very subtly, so you may only pick them up on a subliminal level, but they can help to increase the focus and relaxation. That's what they're designed for. Not everybody believes that they work, but I enjoy having binaural beats in there because I do believe they work. And the 8 hertz alpha wave beats are the ones that I've found the most powerful. So listen out for those. Also in that meditation, I included a new instrument, which I can't remember even what it's called because I've had it for a while now, but the sound it makes reminded me of dragon scales. I don't think you'll be able to hear it, but I'll show it to you. Let's see. Here it is. So these bits of wood sort of click together. If you do it gently, it kind of sounds like a zip. But I don't think you're going to be able to hear it on this microphone, unfortunately. Maybe you will. I'll find out in the edit. But I used this instrument in the meditation, and that will be the first track that features that instrument. So listen out for that. And for me, being drawn to dragon energy this year is a bit of a revelation, because usually at this time of year I work most with bear energy, which you are also attuned to in the Lightworker Animal Empowerments course. But usually at this time of year, it's those transitional energies, the period of going into hibernation and then coming out, sort of whenever the clocks change. That's usually the time that I'm working with bear energy. But this year seems to be a bit different, and I'm working with dragon energy. So interesting. I guess we'll go wherever the universe leads us. And this year it's going to be all about dragons for me, it seems. Let's see what I've got to cover next. Okay. This week I had another question from Brandy, who asked previously about my tattoos. Well, she asked about tattoos, and I ended up talking about my tattoos and my process for getting them, my process for dedicating them. So if you want to know more about that, that's a previous unscripted episode, but if you search the channel or podcast, you'll be able to find that one. And this week, Brandy asks, I love all of your artwork and designs. Do you make everything yourself? And the answer to that is yes, I do. I create the artwork that I use for the posts that I put out on all of my social media. The artwork that I create, I also use on my websites, mayastar.net, mayamagical.net, and the blog as well has my artwork on it. And I've always created art. It's been a part of my magical practice for a long time. Yeah, I think really from the time that I first started practicing magic, I started creating artwork as a way of focusing that energy. So it's something that I've been doing instinctively since I was a very young teenager, and I create my artwork mostly digitally now, but the energy behind it is exactly the same. I really do channel my intentions and magic into the art that I create. But if you've noticed, the style of the artwork, it evolves a bit and it goes through phases. And then I like to pick up images that I've created in the past and do something with them, change them, and that kind of thing. The pictures of me that are in the artwork were from photo shoots that I did back in 2011, 2012, 2013, maybe even 2014. That period when I was doing some modelling work, and because I dance on point as a ballet dancer, I would do modelling on point, and also modelled some corsetry, Victorian style corsetry and that sort of thing. So I've got some really nice images, and now I get to put them together in new ways and create the artwork in the style that I always intended to create artwork in, very much heavily influenced by the pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. If you've been to my blog, you will no doubt have seen that I talk a lot about the pre-Raphaelites. I share poetry of some of the pre-Raphaelites on there, and my artwork is heavily inspired by the pre-Raphaelite style, and so were the photo shoots that I did. If you wanted to see the old original modelling pictures, I think you'd have to go quite far back on the Facebook page. Oh, and actually some of the older artwork will also be available on my Instagram if you scroll back for a very long time. And I'm pretty sure you can find them also on my Pinterest, although I'm not sure if I've ever organised them into proper folders and things. But just if you go back and look at the very old pins back in somewhere between 2011 and 2016, probably around that sort of time, you'll find those kinds of images. But at the moment, I use those images and I adapt them by using different types of digital art and exploring the astral plane, bringing in different energies and putting those together in new artwork, and then I share it with you. Yeah, if you follow my social media, you'll see those every week. There'll be slight variations and occasionally a brand new piece of artwork inspired by whatever I'm working on energetically, bringing in those energies based on colours and textures, combining them in new ways. And the next part of my discussion today is talking about the Pleiadian DNA clearing and activation course, which will be this week's special offer and will be available at the special offer price for the next 7 days. This is a series of 7 attunements that connects you with the Pleiadian healing energies. The Pleiadians are also called the star people. They are light beings that support us in our spiritual development work. And usually when people talk about extraterrestrial guides, it's the Pleiadians they're referring to. You'll often see them depicted as very tall, almost angelic looking people with blonde hair and blue eyes. Some people call them the Nordic aliens, but they are usually depicted as unusually tall, sort of like almost giants. And they're extremely kind. They have a very mothering sort of energy about them, but they're also concerned with our spiritual development and the ascension of the planet as a whole. So our evolution, our spiritual evolution as a species. And if you consider that the planet Earth is a sacred being in itself and we all participate in that, we tend to refer to the sacred Earth as being Gaia. Pleiadians are also concerned with the initiation and ascension of Gaia, and through that we are all going to be transformed because we are all part of the same Earth. So I like to think of it as being just a depiction or a way of imagining the way natural energies progress, grow, evolve, move on. It's the nature of the universe. So don't take everything too literally. These ideas that people have, these explanations of how the energies work and what the Pleiadians are teaching us, you don't need to take it all very literally. I tend to think of these explanations as being almost like stories that can help us to understand the energy in a way that's accessible to our minds, because we need things to be sort of dumbed down a little bit so that we can really grasp it. So when we're talking about how these things work and we're talking about these modern mythologies of how the earth is ascending and so on, this isn't anything unusual. This is reflected in ancient mythologies as well. This is an ongoing process. This isn't something that's especially going to happen right now this minute, or right now this decade, or right now this century. This is a process that's ongoing, and it's been ongoing for many years. Things apparently accelerated at the point of the harmonic convergence in 2012, which had everybody in a bit of a tiz. I remember at the time I used to get emails from people who had been told that if they didn't progress their path sufficiently, they would cease to exist because their body wouldn't be able to handle the new energies that came in 2012. So there's always been people around who take some of these stories a bit too literally, or deliberately put stories out there to try and freak other people out. But really all we're talking about is the natural progress of the universe and how that plays out with us individually and with us as a species and with the planet as a whole. So we're not talking about the end of the world or anything like that. Understand it as modern mythology. That's probably the most accurate way I can tell you to interpret it, and go with your own vibes, because if it doesn't resonate with you, then perhaps this isn't the story that's going to serve you at the present time. But with the Pleiadians, they are very supportive of our spiritual development work, and they are powerful allies when you're learning any kind of energy work, energy healing, and manifesting techniques. And when we're talking about DNA activation, we're talking about something not too literal. We're not talking about that you've got special DNA that you need to switch on using energy work that will make you able to walk through walls or something like that. It isn't anything like that. What we're talking about is just as your physical body and the way it is expressed is determined by the codes within your DNA, so your energy body is expressed based on codes that are expressed in your energetic DNA, which we also call your divine DNA blueprint or your original energetic blueprint. And this is just the expression of your personal energy that is the most integrated, whole and complete that it can be. So when we're talking about DNA activation, that's what we're talking about, bringing you back into the perfect and optimal energetic state so that you are able to manifest your natural gifts, for example, and put yourself in the best position to express better health, creativity, and that kind of thing. We're just putting things into the perfect order for you with those attunements. When I was reflecting on how I was going to explain this to you, I was automatically thinking of epigenetics. Now, epigenetics is more up to date, really. Genetics has become almost old science, and there was certainly a phase where people believed that absolutely everything and your whole life and your health span could all be determined by your DNA, and therefore there was nothing very much you could do about it. Like your DNA, it was already decided whether you were going to die of a heart attack or whether you were going to be prone to this or that. It was all there in your genes, and there was nothing you could do about it. But actually, that turned out to be completely wrong, and there's an awful lot people can do about it. And epigenetics is something that's much more important than basic genetics, because epigenetics has taught us that what we do changes our genetic expression. If we choose to stop drinking, stop smoking, and start getting exercise, our genetic expression changes. If we just want to do all of our negative habits, and maybe we could add some stress and worry on top of that, and maybe some fast food as well, who knows. But you could do all of that, and then your DNA expression will change. The way your genes are activated will change, and your tendency towards certain conditions or different diseases will be changed by what you do. So the environmental factors are absolutely huge, and the same goes for your energy body. The DNA codes reflected within the energy body are like switches in the same way that the DNA codes within your physical body are. And if you change the energetic environment, then you change the expression of the codes that are within your energy field. So that's what the Pleiadian DNA clearing and activation course is all about. Optimizing your energetic expression. So we're trying to optimize the expression of your energy and ensure that you have the best possible chance of being fully aligned with your higher self and finding connection with the divine within. So as I say, the Pleiadian DNA Clearing and Activation course is currently on the special offer, so you can find that on mayastar.net if you're interested, and if you are, I look forward to working with you on that. And our final question for today is, this was submitted by email, and the question is, which course could help me remember and facilitate healing with light codes and light language? And I do get questions along this line quite often, and my recommendation is, if you wish to connect with your own light language, I teach a number of courses that include light language mantras. And if you're attuned to those and you're working with those mantras, you'll often find that your light language is automatically activated the more you work with them. And those courses can be found on the Starseed Energies menu and are specifically the Wheel of Light Starseed Activation courses. I'll just tell you which ones they include. So we have the Wheel of Light Starseed Activations, Indigo Aura, Divine DNA, Lemurian Starseed, Pleiadian Activation, Lemurian Goddess Amara, Dolphin Energy Healing, the Higher Heart Chakra Attunement, and I think there's actually a few more, and on top of that, there's the Lemurian Indigo Connections Attunement course, which also includes light language mantras and is channeled through the Lemurian Mother Goddess Amara. And also, all of those courses include meditation tracks that further amplify those energies when you're working with them, when you're receiving the attunement, when you're completing meditation or healing sessions with them in the future. You can use the channeled meditations to amplify the effects. And that brings us to the end of our journey for today. I hope it's been interesting, and I hope I've inspired you with something to think about over the coming week. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like to help the algorithm, and leave me a comment to let me know what you liked. And if you have any more questions, leave them in the comments or email them to me, and I'll be sure to get to them in a future episode. So all that remains is for me to say, thank you for spending some time with me today. I hope you're leaving this video suffused with good vibes and great ideas. I hope you've had a good week, and I hope you're about to have another one. And I hope you'll be back here again next week for some more mystical meanderings with me. But in the meantime, I wish you peace, prosperity, and progress in all you do. With blessings.